If I could take his disguise and become a doctor, my mum would finally be proud of my career choice and I could effortlessly navigate around the hospital wing. In Australia, you can pretty much have anyone whacked for 75 large. A sum of money for sure, but in exchange for taking another human's life, it seems like pretty good value as a boob job costs around 20k. So you could either get one person killed or get 4 boob jobs. Every human life taken in Australia is worth approximately 8 silicon breasts. I hate keycards so much. I'm sure you can relate to that classic moment when you go to a hotel and they give you 2 copies of the card, and as they're handing it over, you lock eyes with the concierge and lean in and kiss him, and your girlfriend's like, what the hell was that? And you have to sleep on one of those tiny hotel room sofas because she's so angry, so you decide to get some air and forget to take the keycard outside with you. If I had a nickel. My mates and I once stayed at this hostel in Barcelona called Kabul. It literally had the same name as the capital of Afghanistan, but that's not all it had in common. This place was a war zone. I left my towel hanging on my bed and it got stolen in the night. My thongs also got stolen, my briefs, my virginity, my limited edition Dark Charizard all stolen too. It was really rough. For real though, here's a life hack. Steal toilet paper from the office bathrooms. Well, that's actually less a life hack and more just me endorsing stealing, but how else are you going to afford life-saving drugs? Here's a diorama of the factory they are trying to build. I need to get him away from the guards, so I turn a vacuum cleaner on. As everyone knows, no doctor can resist the sound of a Dyson DS60 piston cordless vacuum. Slap my ass and call me Dr. Phil, because this bald malacca just turned that frown upside down. Today we return to Colombia to assassinate the 3 leaders of the Delgado cartel. Andrea Martinez, who looks like she's about to sell me a Colgate teeth whitening kit on Instagram via a photo of her butt. George Franco, who is in charge of actually producing the cocaine, and the kingpin himself, Rico Delgado, who likes his blow so white it has gluten-free sex. It's time to finesse this dodgy wizard. I sneak through the bushes, machete in hand, and proceed to stab him in the back. Unfortunately, one of the tourists wasn't tripping balls and saw the whole thing clearly, so I do the only reasonable thing I can think of, slap his face silly with a machete. I quickly ditch my weapons and allow the search to continue. Finally, I'm getting some action. Sure, it's just a male security guard briefly brushing his hands against my balls as he searches for a gun, but now I join a long list of people who have gotten action at a freak-off. I'm then forced to gun down one of the guards in a panic, which triggers the second guard to radio base, so I have to gun him down too. I then destroy the security camera, which should have been step 1, and as I'm about to sneak away, a third guard comes down, so I throw a wrench at his head, but not before he sees my face, so I have to end him too. All in all, a pretty smooth operation. Not sure what Greta would be doing in a cartel mansion in Colombia, but wait, I bet Greta is a drug dealer. It actually all makes so much sense. She pretends to travel the world for the environment when really she's hopping about pushing drugs. You're not fooling me, Thunberg. For a rich guy, he's not too proud. He's like Judas wearing a frown. He's rich, but still bends down. $250 million, but this candy still counts the pounds. Dua Lipa is my grave. Between her legs is where I drown. Give me my gown. Get down. Not now. I'm now a doctor. At this point, the guards must assume I just enjoy having a man pat me down. Which is true. When I catch a flight in the real world, I usually stuff 50 to 100 paper clips into my briefs to get a free over-the-pants handy from the security screening officer. I decide to do what has to be done, morph into his body and activate the control panel whilst inside him. Andrea is subsequently crushed by the crate, and somehow the guard doesn't realise this was all my doing. I want to ask her on a date, but I also don't want to get rejected, so here's what you do. Step 1, get a gun. Guns not only make you look manly, but they're also crucial for step 2. Step 2, you just shoot them, and therefore it becomes impossible to get rejected because they can no longer speak. What is my content? Welcome to Australia. I'm going to guess and say 0 out of 5 stars because we sure did cause a lot of collateral damage today, but in the words of Mother Teresa, mass murder is a necessary evil on the road to one's success. Imagine your favorite rapper and favorite game had a baby and you get this mission. We've been hired to kill Eminem, or you might know him better as the white guy from D12. He officially partnered with Hitman. Big Boy will do anything but verse me in a rap battle. I can't allow this to happen, as not even Diddy allows fragmentation grenades at his functions. I decide to utilize my Batman throwing stars. Not lethally, but as a distraction, which has to be the most anticlimactic way to utilize Batman throwing stars possible. Also, at 14 years old, I was diagnosed as a celiac and had to spend the rest of my life eating a gluten-free diet. When I say it out loud, I objectively had a harder upbringing than Eminem, who I bet got to eat normal-sized bread. Sounds like an epic prank opportunity. The submarine crew disguise gives me some access to the area, and via overhearing conversations and reading reports, I know exactly what I have to do. I need to find the wounded engineer who must be back at the residential area. So I quickly booked a local vet to come over and check out my cat without looking at any of the reviews or description. When she came over, we quickly realized she wasn't an actual vet, but a pet healer / whisperer. She sat on the couch across from us, cross-legged with her eyes closed, and said she needed a moment to telepathically talk to Mochi. She said Mochi wants to inform us that many lifetimes ago, I was a lion, leader and fearless, and that Anna was a horse. We really got Skibbity Toilet Eminem and Hitman before Grand Theft Auto 6. We are living in the peak timeline. I can't believe kids are so mesmerized by this garbage. The other patients gather around to enjoy the head spin, but I only stay and watch for 4 hours because my real career aspiration is to become a celebrity chef.